Our speaker today is Scott Nelson. Welcome, Scott, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. I will pass the floor to you.
Thank you, Sue. Should have received the drawings. I'm taking clips out of them. I'm hoping everyone has a book of the quality standards that we're going to be referring to, and we will get started. When we did the first one, we realized we didn't do a very good job of telling you just exactly where the Qcp Drafting Accreditation program came from and why we did it. So we're going to spend a little time going through that first thing today. So the Qcp Drafting Accreditation is an individual accreditation program. It attests that you have the ability to prepare shop drawings for the architectural woodwork industry, and that you have the ability of also understanding the AWS standards and the project specifications that relate to the job you're working on. The drafting accreditation program is portable. In other words, it is your personal accreditation. It goes with you wherever you go as far as employment, but it is not transferable from one person to another. Why did Qcp create this program? Number one, if you look at the Pledge of Ethics, our goal is that we are committed to evaluating the level of quality in the woodworking industry. We support the goals of the AWI Quality Certification Corporation. The mission of the QCC is to verify, inspect, and report compliance with published woodwork industry standards. We agree to abide by the rules of the QCP and AWS. The vision of the QCP is to be recognized compliance assurance process for the architectural woodwork industry. We created a personal recognition of drafting abilities and the understanding of how to create a QCP shop drawing that will comply with the AWS and the project specifications. Existing and future employers will know when drafters are applying for a job or they are employed by them, including outside drafting sources, that the person with this accreditation has went through the training and has approved themselves to be able to produce the shop drawings according to the QCP certification program and the AWS standards and the project specifications. To become an accredited drafter, the first thing is to complete an application form as provided by the QCP and as submitted as directed. You may be able to do this online. To do it online, go to the AWI QCP website and click on the drafters on the top gray bar and select Apply. Drop down, there will be an application format that you want to fill out. The application will ask certain things. It will ask for some references. And along with that is when you sign the application, you're signing an agreement about the Pledge of Ethics, and which means that you already have the knowledge and possess the knowledge of drafting abilities to produce an architectural woodwork shop drawing. The fee is a $150 fee that must go with the application, and the fee is non-refundable if you fail to pass the test. The application has 6 months for the application to be received. The first major course material is the Section 1, which we went through last time, and how to create a submittal and shop drawings for the architectural woodwork industry. The second portion of the course is all the rest of the book, the AWS, Sections 2 through 12. There is a testing phase, which is step 3, and there's 2 parts of the test. First part is a written test, written or electronically. It's a 75-question test. 50% of the questions will be from Section 1. The other part will be from the other sections, Sections 2 through 12. These are randomly selected from a bank of questions of over 425 questions. As you put the application in, the computer selects a test. Your test is unique to yourself, and it will tell you the questions that you have to answer. You have 6 months to complete the test. You can start and stop it at any point in time, and we will get into the actual format of the test as we go on. The second part of the test is the shop drawing review process. We have a bank of QCP shop drawings that we will send out. There's the drawings and specifications, you will be required to review those drawing specifications and submit a report saying what on it is missing, what is not correct. You must score 85% on both the tests, the written as well as the shop drawing review. On the written test, and we will be getting into that in a little bit, there are two items of written test. Number one is a narrative that says, when we ask the question, there's a narrative that goes into once you select A, B, or C. The second part of that is to find the page in the standards that it is on and the citation number. For the testing purposes, we are now eliminating the citation number, but you have to get the page number correct. In a little bit, I'm going to be asking to see if there's any questions about this. So if you have any questions about the program and some of the rules right now that relate to the program, please write them down now. Our testing must be completed within 6 months of the application date. If we do not do that, you then have to reapply. To maintain your active accreditation, you have to go through a renewal process. The renewal process is a periodic recertification testing. This fee is included in your annual maintenance fee of $75. However, if a new standard comes out, we may request that you be tested before the 3-year period is up, just to the fact that we have a new standard. But there is not an additional fee of $75 during that year as long as you are current. The reoccurring is every 3 years from not your application date, but from your approval date. Qcp will send out a notification 60 days prior to that time, in which you have 60 days to retest your certification. Question from Nancy: how many times can an attempt to test in the 6-month period? As many times as you'd like. Is that correct, Randy?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. Is there additional fees to take the test more than once in the 6 months? No, there is not. You pay the $150 in the application fee. You can take as many times you'd like.
Okay, Scott's asking if it's required to be certified to draw a QCP certified project. It is not a requirement, the QCP program, Scott, but the intent here is that hopefully you will gain more knowledge about what needs to be on a set of shop drawings used for a QCP project.
Josh wants to know, will you need to be a QCP drafting accredited to also be a AWI QCP fabricator? That is no, you do not have to be. This is a personal, not a company, but a personal accreditation.
And Ty's asking, is the shop drawing test section supplied online or mailed? Ty, that will be emailed to you, and you will need to respond with an email with the items that are incorrect or missing on the set of shop drawings you receive.
We will move on to some of the sample test questions. Every question we're going to talk about today are actual questions on the test from the database. First sample question. In Section 1, Compliance Requirements, Product Basic Rules, the shop drawings cover or title sheet shall include the following. I'd like to have everybody go ahead and check the answer to what you think is up in the right-hand corner. A, contract information for the manufacturer, including phone, fax, and email. On your sample drawings, a blow-up is highlighted on the cover sheet and shows where the manufacturer name, contract, phone number, fax, email, contact name, and these are just things that are supposed to be on your drawings. Where do we find this? Page 28. Turn to page 28 in your manual. Can anybody give me the citation number that answers the question? The answer is 14444. If you have it, turn to page 28, follow down the basic rules of 14.4 down to point 4, which is over on the second column, and then down to 4. Manufacturer, firm, and contact information, including phone, fax, and email. Brian says more specific. Got it. Okay. So let's move to the second one. In Section 1, Compliance Requirements, Product Sections 6 through 12 rules, millwork shop drawings shall include vinyl floor schedule for each room and area, paint schedule for each room and area, trim schedule for each room and area. Go ahead and select your answers.
Shane says, my book only goes to 144442.
You have
that's covered in the errata?
No, it's the second column. James, go up, or Shane, go up to the second column on page 28. You'll see 4. So that's 1444. Then go down to 4 under cover and title sheet.
Okay.
In reality, you probably could take the test, all the tests, and pass with just answering A, B, and C. As you can tell, it's pretty easy as far as what should be in there. The thing is that this is an open book test, and we're looking to find that you know how to use the manual and you know where to find the true answer for when we're trying to ask a question. So the answer is C. And page 30. Now, can anybody give me the citation on this one? There we go. We have a winner, Tim. 1.45112. So let's go to page 30. .1.4.5. Then we go to section 1, millwork, is point 1. Listing, point 1. And true, 2, or down to 2, which is point 2. Trim schedule for each room and area, including as applicable. And as an example from our shop drawings, and I put the page of the drawing number in the page down below, but you'll see that there should be a listing of the footage, the rooms. This one has what wall and the profile that's required. Did everybody find that okay? Good job, Andy. Okay, the next one. In section 1, compliance requirements, product section 6 through 12 rules, countertop shop drawings shall include A, specific restoration requirements for repair and patching, adhesive type, section details at 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. All right. The correct answer is B, type of adhesive. And on your specification page, you'll see adhesive requirements. And Wilson Art contact that countertop only. Your type bonds, when that's supposed to be used. That's when you list them so they know where it's at. Page, so we found that information, page 32. Can anybody help the citation on here? Okay, let's run that to it. The citation, the correct answer is 1.4.5.
Oh, Trisha Ross got it right too.
And 614. Let's move on to the next question. In Section 1, Compliance Requirements, Product Section 6 through 12 rules, walls and ceiling surfacing shop drawings shall include A. Match and balance of panels within an elevation, forced origin of veneers to be used at edge pans, NAUF conformance of fastener hardware. All right, let's see what they got here. Looks like A, which is correct. Okay, A is correct. Page 31. Section 1.4, 5314.
1-3, right?
I said 1.4. 1.3, you're correct. I can't even read. That brings up a good point. I got one half right. So you do get partial credit because they correct the two things. They check for the answer A, B, C, and they'll check for the page 31. I got the answer wrong, but I got the page right. So I would get half of a point. So there is partial credit. Okay, next one. In Section 1, Compliance Requirements, Product Section 612 Rules, shop drawings for casework shall include A. Blocking or strapping requirements and their location shown on cabinet elevations with dimensions off finished floor, origin of all blocking materials, wall type and section.
Okay, so the answer looks like it's
B.
A.
A. Page 32. And on the citations, 145, 523, 12. So you can see you really need to pay attention to the questions that are the capital part of the question. If I go back to the last page, oops. Compliance requirements, product, section 6 through 12 rules. That's going to put you in the right place, okay? And that's consistent throughout. So let's go to the next one. Section 1, compliance requirements, product, section 6 through 12 rules. Shop drawings for premium grade architectural style and rail doors shall include construction details for lead information, style and rail joints, or all the above.
Seems to be B, but a number of people think C is the correct answer.
Well, B is the correct answer. And it's found on page 31. And let's see, Tim's got it 1454234. Michael's 1454235. That's a winner.
Okay. Good job, Michael.
Yes. And where you find, followed on that all the way through, 145. It's going to be on a drawing, so it means we're going to have a detail of it. We got going to 4, section of the doors. It's a drawing, so it's 2. So detailed section is 3. and it shows 5 style and rail joints. Okay, next one. Section 1, the compliance requirements, product, section 6-12 rules, casework shop drawings shall include A, number of hinges at entry doors. B, section details showing the method of cabinet attachment to walls, floors, and ceilings. C, number of treads and risers with dimensions. Okay, everybody's pretty much on track on that one. Answer is B. What is the page number? 32. Citation number, let's see what we got here. Guys got it right. Jeremiah's got it right. Okay. Answer is 145-523-11 on page 32. Okay. So now I want to move on to go over a little bit of time, and then you probably have questions on after we go through this too. But this is I want to go review what an inspection report would look like. If you have a shop drawing inspection report, you will have a shop drawing inspection report on the first 2 projects that you are, if you're going through the certification process. You will not have it unless you request it on subsequent projects once your company is a certified fabricator.
First 2 provisional projects, it's automatic. After that, you can get a shop drawing review on a project. There is an additional fee for that. So yes, you're right.
So just going through that, you see the inspection report shows you the project location. It have a Qcp number, it have a woodworker, contact person at that, email address, the architect's contact information, the Qcp rep that reviewed the shop drawings, his email or her email, and the AWS that applies, depending on the specifications, and the report date, and the quality of the grade of work. So an example is, there's a disclaimer that QCP puts on there that they are inspecting for that it complies to the project specifications and the appropriate AWS standard.
And that's important. I'm glad you brought the specifications up. The sample shop drawing sets that we send out as part of the testing will also have a set of specifications that go along with them. And I'm not going to give anything away, but there are occasions where the specifications will supersede the standard. For example, if the specifications say that they want veneer core plywood doors, then that would supersede the requirements in the architectural woodwork standard.
Now I'm going to go through a couple of examples of the reports, line items and how they work. They refer to, for instance, on here it says compliance, conformance, determination, shop drawing inspected deviates from the AWS standard and the project specification. General comments, numerous nonconformities, no hardware and material list, unable to verify conformance. And they will give you the AWS and the reference number, the citation, 1.4.4.6.1.1. And the other one is there is no reference floor plan as required. Next line item was the description of the nonconformance. There's no material or hardware list, unable to verify conformance to the project and the AWS standards. All material and hardware will be viewed for compliance per specs and standard during inspection. Make note of required laminate thickness for casework and countertops, as well as backer sheets, concealed surfaces. And section sheet 3A-1, project specification, casework. All casework sections shown melamine interior. The project specification requires HPDL vertical grade stick. The next one online is the description of nonconformance. The casework sections do not show dust panels on the drawers on full base drawers and drawer bases as required.
Yeah, and there's a good example of what something might be in the specifications that is not in the architectural woodwork standards.
Description of the nonconformance of rinse, the drawer box material thickness and construction is not listed. Next nonconformance down, the casework joinery is not listed. And the solid surface countertop scale at a 1/2 inch thick, the project specification requires 3/4 inch thick. So in that particular instance right there, again, according to the quality standards, it's a 1/2 inch is okay, but according to the project specification, they're requiring 3/4 inch.
Right, right.
And just a couple more. The countertop sections are not drawn in the conforming scale, and they list off the reference. The drawings show the bathroom panel below the sink as plywood core. This is non-conforming core for panels. Another one, the drawings show 4-inch wide wall fillers. The maximum allowed filler width is 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
And the support bracket for solid surface countertop scales is non-conforming for the allowed overhang.
Ed has a good question, Scott. He says, does
Yes.
a bid qualification override specifications and QCP? Interesting question, Ed. What do you think, Scott?
Well, I think only if you agreed upon it, then it needs to be shown on the variance on your shop drawing and listed as such, that it was agreed upon. And so you submit it that way. Otherwise, you don't have anything to stand on unless you so get it approved and said it was a variance, or we agreed upon this, and this, and you should get it approved ahead of time, and you have writing from whoever, the architect and or the contractor, depending on who made the particular qualification on the bid.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I would say that that's really a contractual issue, which is fine, but I would think that contractual issue or agreement would then become part of the specifications. May have been a post-bid or pre-bid qualification, and if it's all agreed to by the parties, then yeah, that would become part of the specifications. And you're also asking, can it be listed once on the cover sheet? What we suggest is clouding the shop drawing and asking for the architect to initial the approval of it.
Also, if you have a schedule, like on the drawing TLC, it lists out the variance schedule, which gives you a opportunity to list exactly the differences from the specifications and the AWS requirements, so that you can list them right there and they ask them to sign off on them.
Yeah, Shane's got a good question. He's saying if the specs call for 3/4 inch material and the color schedule call for material only manufactured in 1/2 inch, that's a very good question, and obviously you'd need to seek clarification from the architect or the owner on how to proceed.
We're going to continue on for a little bit. These are basic questions that are about the sections 2 through 12. In section 2, compliance requirements, product basic rules, storage, millwork shall be protected from A, sunlight, wide swings in relative humidity, and abnormal heat or cold, scaffold wheels, and other trades. Well, C is also one that can be a problem. However, the answer, as everybody has, is A. And this is found on page 42. All right, and the section citation is 2.4.4.3.4.1. Let's back up a little bit. I have a couple other questions from before. Scott asked Do job specifications override the drawings? Randy?
You know, that's an age-old question. A lot of people used to think, well, the specs take precedence, and other people would think, well, the drawings, the architectural drawings take precedence. And actually, today, they have equal weight. The only time that I've seen where one has more weight than the other was a government project where it was actually stipulated in the specifications that the specifications would overrule the drawing, but that's a pretty rare occurrence. Scott, what you're talking about locks in the spec and none on the drawing, that's a good example. And I think that Philip has a good suggestion. Any contradictions, you need to issue an RFI for clarification. Probably the best procedure.
Right, because you could get caught on that locks very easy. But if they don't show them on the drawing, you're not sure where you're supposed to put them. And so I think, again, an RFI is a good idea. And also, I suggest that if you can, state that variance on the shop drawing as well, so they have seen it twice as part of the contract documents as well as on the shop drawings. Next one, in section 3, compliance requirements, product material rules. The minimum finished thickness of S4S and profile members will be a nominal dimension of 5/4 or 1 1/4, 32 millimeter, shall be A, inch and 3/16, B, inch and 1/16, C, 15/16.
Is B an inch and a 16th or 11/16, Scott?
That's supposed to be inch and 1/16.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay. So we got pretty well split right now.
Yeah.
Third.
Getting activity in all three categories.
So it's one that needs to be looked up. So first place we've got to go is section 3. Compliance requirements, basic material rules. So that puts us in 3.4.5. Minimum thickness, finished thickness at 0.1. 0.1 is 4/4. No. 0.2 is 5/4, which we were talking about. So the correct answer would be C.
Jeremiah pointed out that if it is 1 1/16, Scott, that it would have been 27 millimeters. I think you had it noted as 18 millimeters. Good catch, Jeremiah.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. This one's in section 4, compliance requirements, general basic considerations, continuous pressure laminates, melamine or polyester base may be used in lieu of HPDL, excuse me.
Yep.
A, provided they conform to the same standards as HPDL. B, if a shop runs out of HPDL for a project. C, if cost savings can be made for the manufacturer.
All right, Ed's got a question for you, Scott. I think on the last question.
Yes. Isn't 5/4 and inch and 1/4 contradictory since nominal dimensions don't include the inch mark? I agree with you. I don't know why the standard put that in there because the nominal is 5/4 and 5/4 could be, depending on your grade, 5/4 might not be an inch and 1/4. It can vary. So, Randy, you'd have to ask me why they said or inch and 1/4. Because in the lumber world, most of it is 4/4, 5/4 when you buy it in a rough.
Right.
The inch mark does mean actual size. That's something to remember when you put on your shop drawings. Always put the actual size that you want the piece to be, and that shows up in your detail. So back to the other question, back up here about the HPLD. The answer is A. We'll go to page 89. Everyone got that pretty much correct.
Mhm.
And it's pretty general in this rule, 4.1.6. Okay, in section 5, compliance requirements, product basic rules, samples shall, 1, each bear a label identifying the job name and the design, professional, the contractor, the finished system number, and B, be approved by the general contractor, C, be on veneers similar to what will be used on the project. Answer, correct. A and page 118. Citation. Good job.
You got it, Andy.
Okay, next one is in section 6, compliance requirements, product material rules for transparent finish on veneer. What is the default slicing method for custom grade? A, teardrop sliced, B, plain sliced, C, quarter sliced. Okay, B is the answer. B is correct, page 150. Section 7, compliance requirements, product materials rules. Premium and custom grade stair work requires exposed surface ends to be A, double sealed prior to staining, B, self-returned with no end grain showing, C, sanded to a minimum of 60 grit. All right. Well, B is the answer. Go to page 178. Second column, citation 74512.2. Okay, next one, section 8. Compliance requirements, product basic rules. What is the default height for wainscot above the finished floor?
Good question.
Yep, it is. I had to look this dude up.
I think I'd have to look it up too, Scott.
I had no idea. I couldn't guess. Okay, so we got 40% A, 60% B.
Mm-hmm.
The winner is B. Page 215, 8449.
Right.
The wainscot shall be 48 inches or less in height above the finished floor.
Higher than what a lot of people think. As exampled in the answer. The A was what, 36?
Yeah.
Yeah.
36. That's what I would have probably guessed too.
Yeah.
But it can be up to 48 or less. All righty. Next one. Section 9, compliance requirements, product basic rules. Flush veneered solid core doors shall include A, the cores calibrated if the woodworker has a white belt standard.
I like that.
B, contact cement for bonding veneers to cores. C, bonded, stiles and rails securely glued to core construction.
Okay, so we got correct answer.
Yep. C. C. Go to page 255. Okay, we've got just a couple more.
You
We'll
push.
have some more questions to follow up with for the end of the workshop.
Okay.
So, section 10, compliance, requirements, product basic considerations. Flush panel doors drawers, and door fronts for premium grade. A, shall run and match vertically and is sequenced horizontally within each cabinet unit. B, shall run and match the manufacturer's option. C, shall run and match the veneer supplier's option. This is usually when you walk onto a job that's not an AWI person, you kind of can tell because this is when they'll make the mistake. A is the answer, page 300.
Very good.
Okay, the last question. Section 11, compliance requirements, product material rules. What is the nominal minimum thickness for solid surface countertops and backsplashes?
Good question.
C is the correct answer. Page 354. And it's 11.4.5.8.2.
Right.
Solid surface shelf, nominal of half inches.
Good job.
And that ends our webinar for today. If there are any questions on anything, would you like to bring them forward?
If you're an AWI member, you can go to the AWI website, log in as a member, and go to the AWI store. You can download a copy of the standard. It's not printable, but you can have an electronic copy of it. Shane is asking, will the shop review answers on our end be provided by list or actual red lines? That's a good question, Shane. Essentially what we're doing, and I think you're talking about the sample shop drawings that you'll be sent as part of the examination process. These shop drawings are actually from real projects. We've taken out the names of the parties, and there is a shop drawing report that essentially is our answer sheet that will be used to grade what you identify as missing or incorrect on the drawing. Hopefully that's answered your question. Martha's asking, what's the time frame for the test? There is no time frame, Martha. You can stop and start as many times as you want. You do have to complete it within 6 months. Okay, Brian's asking, you need to identify the correct answer, obviously. And the page number only, that is correct, Brian. We've made that change. We've had a lot of people question the citation references, and I know it's much more difficult. So the consensus seems to be that if you have gotten to the correct page, that's pretty close, and that's the way the test will be graded at this point. Ed, yes, the applications and tests are available now. If you can fill out your application as soon as you leave this webinar. You need to allow 24 hours because once we put you in the database, our database talks to our website once a day. So that's uploaded. You can then log in tomorrow and start taking the test. Any guidance on how sticky you need to get when calling out discrepancies between, I think I'm in spec and shop drawings. We sometimes get construction drawings that are so poor, I could write a book. Yeah, I think we all could. Can you really raise an architect's hackle by calling out 3 to 5 mistakes in every drawing sheet? My experience is you need to be very diplomatic about calling out mistakes on an architect's drawings. Just my 2 cents. I've done it the other way and it didn't go well for me. I think I was blacklisted by that firm for 2 years. Yes, Brian, I think people do still have fax machines, and occasionally they even use them.
Hi. It is required for the cover sheet. Yes. In other words, if you look at the cover sheet, that is where, that's on the sample drawings, that's where the listing of all the parties and the proper contacts are located. Granted, if they don't have a fax machine, there's, you wouldn't list it, but most people still do have them. Randy, when they submit shop drawings, how do they submit these shop drawings for approval on the first and second ones? Electronically?
Well, essentially what we're looking for would be a list. They can respond with an email or a Word document, whatever is easier, noting the items on the drawings that are missing or incorrect. So you will get the set of drawings, and you'll get a set of specifications that goes with that set of drawings. You then have to determine if everything on the shop drawings is correct, and let us know what that is, or what's missing, and let us know what that is.
James says if we are buying out stile and rail doors, do we still have to show details on our drawings? I would say yes. Ed says how many drawings are in each test? There's one set of drawings, correct?
Yeah.
And one set of specs.
Right off the top of my head, it depends on the project, but I think it's around 6 or 7 drawings, something in that neighborhood. Certainly not 100 different drawings. It's going to be a small type.
You're talking about sheets.
Yeah,
How many pages?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
James Quigley, you're asking if you're buying out cellular doors, do we still have to show details on a shop drawing? Yes, you do.
And that is the North American AWS 3.0 book necessary?
Shane, you're asking if it's the North American Architectural Woodwork Standard. No, that is a regional group in California that publishes that standard. What we're talking about is the Architectural Woodwork Standards published in 2014, which is a joint standard, but it is a global standard, actually.
Kai says, is there an image file to attach to a shop drawing stating the drafter is certified, like AWI certified label, certification label?
Very good question, Ty. We're actually in the process of developing a logo that people can use that have successfully passed this accreditation. It'll be similar to the Qcp logo, but it'll be a little bit different so that it denotes the individual drafting accreditation. Each person will get, a certificate suitable for wall hanging. Ryan's asking, can only an accredited drafter draw certified projects? No, that's not a requirement. We had that question earlier on. Maybe in the future, we'll see, but currently that is not a requirement on Qcp projects. Okay, good job. Good job, Scott.
If there's no other questions, I appreciate your participation, and we hope to be hearing from you soon.
Scott and Randy, thank you again for your time and contributions to today's program, as well as your overall support of AWI. Thank you as well to all our participants for joining us. I hope everyone found today's program to be informative and beneficial, and hope to see everyone back online soon. Have a great day, everyone.